I'm Kirk Lawson, NDI instructor at OTEC.
I'm Maddie. I'm a student here with the Non-Destructive Inspection Program. Alright, so here we've taken an x-ray of this conch shell, and with our program we were able to change the color of our subject that we just got done radiographing, where we are able to see different densities and thicknesses in the shell and manipulate that using color. So I'll show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. We can see some of the colors shifting. We can use different palettes that offer more contrast depending on what we're looking for. So here we can see the spiral really well where it goes up into some of the thinner area of the shell. And then down here, this is probably the thinnest area of the shell where we're only going through one layer. But as we go up into here, with the where it's kind of that fuchsia color, that's going to be the thickest area, and it's going through several spirals of shell material. This applies to non-destructive inspection, where we can actually take material such as this weld that I photographed here, and we can see the different densities in the material, and using this program I can actually adjust it, and you can see cracks right here that have propagated along the weld, along with some porosity that, if this part was used long term, could be fatal to several lives, which is why it's so important to not only understand what we do here, but understand the impact that it has on people and the world.
Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself to the group?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Scott. So I'm Kirk Lawson. In about 1980, I went through a similar program for non-destructive inspection, and I obtained an associate's degree, and I have been doing non-destructive inspection ever since. So I've worked for a lot of different companies, a lot of them doing welds and composites and gas turbine airplane engines and gearbox manufacturers. So I have a lot of different experience, and I have worked from a technician to a supervisor, to a manager, to lab director, to quality manager as well. So within NDI, you can end up moving into a lot of different jobs that's under the quality umbrella, and so there's a lot of other opportunities outside of NDI as well once you're in it. And I have a consulting company on the side, so I am the level 3 for 3 different companies at this time. So again, NDI is an awesome opportunity. You could end up having your own company. You could be working in a laboratory environment. You could be working out in oil fields or out in the Gulf. So there's lots of different things that you can end up doing.
Great, thank you, Kirk. And it looks like we do have questions rolling in. So the first question that I can see is from Joshua, and he asks, what is the pay range of this trait?
So usually when we have students leave, we are probably placing them somewhere between $15 to about $21 an hour, depending upon which company and which NDT method they'll be working on. So that's about starting pay. After you're in it and you're actually a certified level 2 within the company, you're probably going to be somewhere between $24 and $32 an hour. And then after many years and a lot of experience, you can become a level 3, and they are somewhere between $80,000 to $130,000 a year.
Sounds like I'm doing the wrong thing. That's great, and it looks like that probably addressed Jasmine's question as well. She asked, how much would you start when you get paid, or how much would you get paid when you first start, and you covered that. So why don't we move to the next question, which is from Braxton Andrews, and he asks, what does the job do for Utah? Did I get that right, Braxton?
So yeah, in Utah, there's several different companies. There's not as many opportunities here in Utah that some of the states have, but we do have a lot of opportunities. So Hill Air Force Base is one of them, PCC Structurals. Here in Ogden, you have Albany Aerospace, which is in North Salt Lake. You've got Parker Hannifin, you've got Barnes, you've got there's a bunch of them, Acuren, Mistras, Team. There's a lot of different, and also Northrop Grumman. They're a big employer as well, and they have several different locations. One in Promontory, Clearfield, Magna. So there's a lot of opportunities there as well.
Well, that's great, and thank you, Braxton, for your question. Is there anybody else that has any questions for Kirk? Just a reminder for those of you who ask questions during this live session, your name will be entered into a drawing for a prize. So a little carrot out there for you. And it looks like we do have a question from Joshua. And he asks, where did you start out, Kirk?
So I got my associate's degree in 1981, and my plan was to go work at the Idaho National Engineering Laboratory, which is outside of Idaho Falls. So Idaho Falls, Idaho is where I'm from. And at that time they were laying off, so I took an opportunity to go up in Evanston, Wyoming, and work on some of the sour gas processing plants up there. And then from there, I did get a contract position out to the INEL in Idaho Falls. From there, I went to Thicol, which is now Northrop Grumman in Promontory. And then I went to PCC Structurals. I was the lab director there, and went to Williams International, about where all the gas turbine airplanes are made, and went to Triumph Gear Systems in Park City, where they make a lot of big gearboxes for helicopters and military aircraft.
That sounds pretty exciting, Kirk. And it looks like we have another question. This one is from Fenton. He asks, where are the facilities located?
For the NDI, we are at the BDO. So we are in building 10A, and the exact address is 918 West 2nd Street in building 10A. And you're welcome to come over and view our facilities. We have awesome facilities here. So we have salesmen that have traveled all over the United States selling NDI equipment, and they have been in our facility, and they have told us that we have probably the best lab setup of anybody that they've ever went and visited. So we are very proud of our facilities here and the equipment and stuff that we have.
Great, thank you, Kirk. Another question we have is, how much experience do you look for when hiring for this position?
So when I was a hiring manager for 27 years, you typically want to hire somebody that's already a level 2, because it makes it so that I have to provide less training for you. The school will give you all of the classroom training hours required to be for level 1 and level 2 in all 5 methods that we teach here, which is liquid penetrant magnetic particle, X-ray, ultrasonics, and eddy current. But there is additional training hours that you have to get from a company. There are lots of companies out there that will hire you and then give you those extra hours so that you can become certified. So when you see a level 2 position being posted, at the completion of this program, we encourage you to apply for those positions, because a lot of the times the companies can't find level 2s that are already certified. So then they will hire a lot of people that we claim as a trainee, and then give them the 400 or 800 hours on-the-job training required for that specific method so that they would have all the qualifications to become a level 2.
That's great, Kirk. Another question that we had related to this one is, you may have covered this, but what type of education will you need to get into this field?
The only thing that you need to get into this field is the program, complete the program. Because for NDI, there is no education requirements other than the amount of classroom training hours required for each of the different disciplines. Once you complete those, the only other thing that you need to do is the on-the-job training hours. Education will help if you have an associate's degree in NDT. The only thing it helps you, though, is it shortens the amount of time that you have to be a level 2 to become a level 3. If you have a 4-year degree in a science, that even shortens that time even more. So if you have a 4-year degree in science and you complete our program, you only have to be a level 2 for 1 year, and then you can become a level 3. If you have an associate's degree, which we don't offer here, you would have to be a level 2 for 2 years, and then you could become a level 3. With just our program, you would be a level 2 for 4 years, and then you could become a level 3. So the time frame, it doesn't help you a lot because most of the time you're not going to have an opportunity to become a level 3 in that short of a period of time. So it can help, but most of the time it doesn't.
Great, Kirk. Thank you. It looks like another question that we have is, how old do you have to be to work in this field?
Well, you typically have to be 18. To be able to work in X-ray, there is safety regulations that says that you cannot receive any radiation or be in radiation areas until you're 18. And most companies won't hire you until you're 18 anyway.
Great, thank you. Another question I have is, how much would the NDI equipment cost? And is that to get started, Jasmine? Is that what you're asking? And I'm going to go ahead and just answer the next question, which was just how much is the program cost? So if we're looking at the entire program, that we estimate a full-time student will spend $2,165 in tuition and fees, and then the material costs are $945.75. So I believe that would answer your question too, Jasmine. Usually day one we say to be pretty much prepared to pay for all of your materials for the course, because you're going to need that online content in order to do your work within this course. And Kirk, if you'd like to add anything, you go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. High school students get a little bit of a discount on that cost, so it's not the full $900, and then the other $35 for the OSHA class. I believe it's around $450 to $500 now for high school students.
Hey, that's
and that is a really, really good deal. If you were to do those online classes, they would cost you about $1,000 per class. So if you were to do this on your own, you would be over $8,000–9,000 by the time you were done.
And Kirk, do you mind if I include your email in the chat box, so if these students have additional NDI related questions, they can shoot you a direct email?
Sure, that would be great.
Okay, everybody, I went ahead and put Kirk's email in the chat box. I'll give you a few minutes to copy that down. We are coming to the conclusion of the session. I do want to thank each and every one of you who have come out We have taken note of those of you who have asked questions during this session, and you will be entered in a drawing for a prize. And feel free to reach out to Kirk using his email there in the chat box if you have additional questions. As a program counselor for non-destructive inspection, I'm also available to help you with any questions that you may have. I'll include my email in the chat box as well. Also, if you go to the otech.edu webpage and go to the non-destructive inspection program, and if you scroll down to that, at the bottom of that page, you'll find Ken Bakes, Kirk Lawson, myself, Scott Tusher, contact information, email, phone number. So you can reach out to any of the three of us, and we'd be happy to assist you. But again, I want to thank you for being here today and participating in Manufacturing Day. And